Hare Krishna. So, welcome to today's Bhagavad Gita class. We're going to be picking up where we left off on chapter 10, text 32. But before we go there, let us do the Mangala Charanam for auspiciousness. Om Jnanatirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So before we get to chapter 10, we'll just go to a new verse for memorization for this week. And that is the next verse, 927. So if you have your Bhagavad Gita's there, go to 927. And it's a very famous verse. It goes like this. Yat karoshi yadasnasi, yajjuhoshi dadasi yat tapasyasi konteya, tat karusva mad arpanam. Do it again. Yat karoshi yadashnasi, yajjuhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi konteya, tat karushva mad arpanam. And then the song for the translation is a really fun one. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering unto me. Dun, 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 dun. I'll just do that again. You can sing together with me if you want. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering unto me. Ta-dun, ta-dun, dun. Haribo. Okay, so now we are going to chapter 10. Just get there. Text 32. So this chapter is called The Opulence of the Absolute. And we stopped in the middle of the different opulences. So in terms of opulences, we're seeing how Krishna is the best of everything. And so he's breaking it down into all the different categories of existence within this material world and how he is the best of everything. So some categories are, for example, of trees, he's the banyan tree. Of animals, he's the shark. Of weapons, he's the thunderbolt. Of cows, he's the Surabhi cow. What else? Of immovable things, he's the Himalayas. Of lights, he is the sun. Of stars, he's the moon. Of demigods, he's Indra. Like that. So we'll just pick it up here, the text 32. Sarganam adir antascha madhyam chaivaham arjuna Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam Vada Pravadatam Aham. Someone want to read there?
I can
Pragati?
read.
Aruna, go ahead.
Okay. Of all creation, I am the beginning and the end, also the middle, O Arjuna. Of all sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self, and among logicians, I am the conclusive truth. Purport. Among the created manifestations, the first is the creation of the total material elements. As explained before, the cosmic manifestation is created and conducted by Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and Kshirodakshai Vishnu, and then it is annihilated by Lord Shiva. Brahma is a secondary creator. All these agents of creation, maintenance, and annihilations are incarnation of the material qualities of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, he is the beginning, the middle, and the end of all creations. For advanced education, there are various kinds of books of knowledge, such as four Vedas, their six supplements, the Vedanta Sutra, books of logic, books of religiosity, and the Puranas. So altogether, there are 14 divisions of books of education. Of these, the book which presents Adhyatma Vidya, spiritual knowledge, in particular the Vedanta Sutra represents Krishna. Among logicians, there are different kinds of argument. Supporting one's argument with evidence that also supports the opposing side is called jalpa. Merely trying to defeat one's opponent is called vitanta, but the actual conclusion is called vada. This conclusive truth is a representation of Krishna.
Yeah, thank you. So, yeah, this verse shows Krishna's intimate connection with this creation, the sarga, the creation. And he's saying that, because out of all the other things, he's saying that out of all the possible beings or things in that category, I'm one thing, the best thing. But then he's saying, of all creations, I am the beginning, the middle, and the end. In other words, I'm the whole thing. I'm not just one part or one representative of that thing, but I'm the whole thing. So he's saying that there's no part of this creation that is not me, that doesn't depend on me, that is not a manifestation of my energies, that was not initiated by my will, by my power. It's all me from beginning, middle to end. So that's important to remember because we live in this creation and we can be conscious of how everything from beginning, the creation of the universe, the middle means the stage of maintenance. Who's maintaining it? Krishna. Who created it? Krishna. Who maintains it? Krishna. And who's going to destroy it at the end? Krishna. He does it through his agents, right? So he empowers Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and Kshirodakshaya Vishnu to create. He also empowers Lord Brahma as a secondary creator to engineer and design all the different structures and functions. And then he empowers Lord Shiva to assist in the destruction of the universe. But ultimately, it's all him. He's the source of all these actions and interactions. And then, out of all the sciences, of all the branches of knowledge, he says he's the spiritual science of the self. So, many times when Prabhupada is commenting on modern education system, he says that it's unfortunate because there are so many different departments of knowledge in all the different universities in the world. Yeah, I remember that when I was a senior in high school, I was getting all these letters in the mailbox. Like every day I'd come home from school and there'd be like another 9 or 10 letters in the mailbox of different universities inviting me to apply. And they're all boasting of a long list of majors, sometimes like 20, 30 different majors or degree programs that they're offering that you can choose from sciences and humanities and arts and all these things. And but there's no department for the soul. I would read through all those different lists of majors, of degree programs, and I would just be like, not interested in any of them. I was looking for something. Maybe I was a little interested in something like philosophy or psychology or ecology. But, if there was something there that was like the science of the soul, that you are going to learn who you are as an eternal, blissful, spiritual being, then I would have been like, all right, sign me up for that one. But it was missing. And Srila Prabhupada would say that, yeah, that these Universities are teaching only mundane knowledge. Not a single one of them teaches the science of the soul. And Prabhupada is saying that out of all the different branches of knowledge, the science of the self is the best. It's like the highest. And Krishna says, I am that one. I am that one. He's not saying I'm biology or I'm physics or I'm, you know, whatever, chemistry or philosophy, but he's saying, I am the science of the self. So it's just ironic and unfortunate that out of all the subjects that universities offer, that one most important subject, which represents Krishna, the best subject, is the one that's missing from all of them. So Prabhupada pointed out this glaring defect of modern education. And so, yeah, people need to come to ISKCON to learn the science of the soul, to learn Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, to know who we are and why we're here, what our purpose is, how to realize ourselves as spirit souls in greater and greater levels, deeper and deeper dimensions, and go back to where we belong. So that's all taught in these shastras that we're studying here. And then last thing here, Krishna says that he says, Vada pravadatam aham. So Vada means the conclusion. And the way Prabhupada translates it in the translation is, among logicians, I am the conclusive truth. I am Vada. The way he comments on it in the purport is that there are different kinds of argument. So that's another meaning of the word pravadatam, yeah, of arguments. So of the different kinds of arguments or different ways of having, philosophical discourse or debate, there are different ways that that can be done. And so one way of having a debate or, a discussion with someone is jalpa, where you're just you're attached to your point of view and you're just promoting and defending your point of view. You're not open to listening to the other person's perspective. Right? You're just stuck. You're stubbornly attached to your point of view and you don't want to be swayed. And then the other one is similar, it's vitanda, whereas here it's not that you're so much you don't even really care about your own point of view. You just want to smash the other person. So, and the first one is that you're attached to your own point of view, so you're not listening to the other one. The other one is that you're mainly preoccupied with just defeating your opponent by whatever means possible. So in neither of these, jalpa or vitanda, is the person or the people who are debating really interested in coming to the truth. Because, for example, what if the philosophical view that they're attached to is not right? Maybe they have a wrong view, they have a misunderstanding. And so they're going to defend their misunderstanding to the death. It's just foolish, right? Better that they are open to coming to greater clarity or coming closer to the truth by understanding somebody else's perspective. And, if the other person is right, then your defeating them is not actually a win. It's just, keeping yourself in ignorance. Winning means that you learned something. You brought in your perspective, your misunderstanding was corrected, and now you're closer to the right path. So that's vada. Vada means when two people go into a discussion and maybe they're having a debate or an argument or, a heated conversation about some important philosophical point, but they're both open-minded. They go into it thinking, I think I know, I'm thinking that this is what it is. This is my perspective and I'm pretty convinced this is true, but I'm open to hearing what you have to say. I'm listening and I'm really trying to understand what you have to say. And, I'm seeking to come closer to the truth. And if you defeat me and that brings me closer to the truth, then I embrace that and I accept you as my teacher. And I'm grateful to you for showing me the light, basically. So that's Vada. So Prabhupada says that I am that. I am that kind of conversation, or that kind of discussion or debate in which both parties, all parties, are interested in the truth more than they are in just, winning or beating the other person. So in all of our discussions, we should try to aim for vada, that quality of conversation, even if we don't agree with the person. Okay, so those are three things that Krishna mentions in that verse. Let's go to text 33. Aksharanam akarosmi dvandva samasikasya cha aham evakshaya kalo dataham vishvato mukaha. Pragati?
Yes, I can do. Of letters, I am the letter A, and among compound words, I am the dual compound. I am also inexhaustible time, and of creators, I am Brahma. Purport: Akara, the first letter of the Sanskrit alphabet, is the beginning of the Vedic literature. Without Akara, nothing can be sounded. Therefore, it is the beginning of sound. In Sanskrit, there are also many compound words, of which the dual word, like Ram, Krishna, is called Dvandva. In this compound, the words Ram and Krishna have the same form, and therefore the compound is called dual. Among all kinds of killers, time is the ultimate because time kills everything. Time is the representative of Krishna because in due course of time there will be a great fire and everything will be annihilated. Among the living entities who are creators, Brahma, who has four heads, is the chief. Therefore, he is a representative of the Supreme Lord Krishna.
Thank you. Yeah, so akara, the letter a, or of course in English we think of A like A, B, C, but in Sanskrit or languages that are derived from Sanskrit, this a is very important because it's the first letter, but also because it's like the letter a is included in like all the consonants. So basically you can't even speak without a without the syllable a, right? Like the letter K, you can't even pronounce the letter K like phonetically without adding a. Otherwise it's like what is that? So you have to say ka, 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 ga, ga, right? Like that. Ma, pa. So all the different letters in Sanskrit, they have this. If you just write the letter itself, it's assumed that there's an there because the enables you to pronounce everything else. So that is Krishna. So because Krishna is that quality of things that enable it to function, that enable it to work. Without Krishna, nothing works. Without Krishna, nothing functions. Nothing comes into existence. Nothing is maintained. Nothing is annihilated. Krishna is the source behind everything, just like the letter A in Sanskrit. And then the dual compound, I'm not sure why Krishna likes the dual compound so much, but one thing is that in the Hare Krishna mantra, all of the parts of it are composed of dual compounds. So I think Krishna really likes the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And so yeah, Hare Krishna, it's a dual compound. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then we also have Sita Ram, Sita Rama, Radha Krishna, Gaura Nitai, like that, Radha Raman. And yeah, there's all dual compounds. So when we pronounce the names of the divine couple, it's often dual compounds. And then he talks about time. So yeah, of all destructive forces in the world, he is time, because time brings everything to an end. And we'll hear in the next chapter when Krishna shows the universal form that he says, Kalo asmi, I am time. Time, I am destroyer of the worlds, and I have come here to destroy all people, because they're on the battlefield. So he's saying, apart from you, Pandavas, everyone on this battlefield is going to die. So that's the impact of time, that time just keeps ticking by, and every second we are continuously basically dying. Prabhupada would say that from the moment the baby is born, it begins dying. And it's a little bit of a pessimistic way of looking at life, but it's a fact that time is just gradually, moment by moment, dragging us to our demise. And the force of time is unstoppable because it's the representative of Krishna. But this force of time is good, and death is necessary because death is a junction, it's a transition. Just like if you're on a train and it's going one direction without stopping, then you're stuck on the train. There's no opportunity to really change much. You can walk from one carriage to the next, or change your seat, or go to the restroom, or whatever, but there's not much you can do. But when it stops at a junction, or even when it stops at a station which is not a junction, you can get on or off, but you can't go another way on the train. You can just go, back and forth. But if it stops at a junction, then you can get onto another line. You can go, north, south, east, west, all of the directions from that junction. So death is a junction at which we can go in a different direction. We can change the direction. Of course, you could say any moment is a junction in one sense, but death is a major junction because that's when we change our body. And at the time of death, we can get out of material existence and go back home, back to Godhead. So it's not a bad thing if you're in good consciousness. It's a good thing, not something to be afraid of. Okay. Any questions so far on any of these points? All right, let's go ahead then. Text 34. Mrityu sarvaharaschaham udbhavascha bhavishyatam kirtir shrir vakchanarinam smritir medha dviti kshama. I'll read this one here. I am all-devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Purport. Oh, this is what I was just saying. As soon as a man is born, he dies at every moment. Thus, death is devouring every living entity at every moment. But the last stroke is called death itself. That death is Krishna. As for future development, all living entities undergo 6 basic changes. They are born, they grow, they remain for some time, they reproduce, they dwindle, and finally they vanish. Of these changes, the first is deliverance from the womb, and that is Krishna. The first generation is the beginning of all future activities. The 7 opulences listed, fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience, are considered feminine. If a person possesses all of them, or some of them, he becomes glorious. If a man is famous as a righteous man, that makes him glorious. Sanskrit is the perfect language and therefore very glorious. If after studying one can remember a subject matter, he is gifted with a good memory, or smriti, and the ability not only to read many books on different subject matters, but to understand them and apply them when necessary, is intelligence, medha, another opulence. The ability to overcome unsteadiness is called firmness or steadfastness, driti. And when one is fully qualified, yet is humble and gentle, and when one is able to keep his balance both in sorrow and in the ecstasy of joy, he has the opulence called patience, or kshama. So this is a very sweet verse. And Krishna is he's saying again that he is death. And often Prabhupada would say that some people say that God doesn't exist. They don't believe in God. But everyone is going to see, they'll say, show me God, prove that God exists. I want to see him. But Prabhupada says that everyone is going to see God at the time of death. And that God will come at the time of death as death itself, as he's saying here, I am all devouring death, and take away everything. Take away all the things that person has worked for, all the things they're attached to, all of their friends and family and accomplishments and money and house and car and even their own body. So, yes. And Krishna also says that he's birth. So he says, I am the generating principle of all that is to be. And Prabhupada elaborates here on the purport that the first one of the changes is deliverance from the womb, and that is Krishna. So this first generation, the birth, is the generating principle. And then he goes into the feminine qualities. So here, Krishna literally says, of women, nadi nam. It literally means, of women, I am these things. Prabhupada says these are feminine qualities. So nowadays it makes sense to talk about, instead of saying women are like this and men are like this, it makes more sense and it's more politically correct to say that these are the feminine qualities and these are masculine qualities, and everyone has a mix of masculine and feminine qualities. And there are some, souls in female bodies who have a lot of masculine qualities, and there are some souls in male bodies who have a lot of feminine qualities. And that's fine, because they're all good and best when they're in a nice balance. So these feminine qualities are also very beautiful, and we'll see, they're not unique, and hopefully not unique just to people in biologically female bodies, but everyone needs these qualities, right? These qualities, everyone wants these qualities and will live a better life if they have these qualities. So yeah, the first one is fame, and Prabhupada connects famousness to righteousness. He says if a person is famous as a righteous person, that makes him glorious. So when Krishna says he's something, it means that it's the best part of that thing. It's the pure representation of that thing. So someone can also be infamous, like Hitler is also famous, but famous for being horrible. So that fame is not Krishna. But when a person is famous for being righteous, like Maharaj Yudhisthira, then that fame is Krishna, fame which brings glory. And then, of course, memory, then the next thing is, in the purport, Prabhupada talks about them in different order. But memory, so memory is a good thing. It's a gift. If you have a good memory, then that helps you. Like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had practically a photographic memory. He could memorize things really easily. And when he was a young boy, they called him a walking encyclopedia because he had so much knowledge, so much information right there at his fingertips of his mind, because he could remember everything he read. So that helps, especially when we're studying the scriptures, to remember what we're learning, to be able to memorize verses, to be able to cite our sources, and then we can explain things nicely. And Prabhupada explains that memory is not just memorization, but it means also to understand and apply. That's medha. So medha means intelligence. So we're not just remembering, like memorizing something like parrots, right? Because you can also tell something to a parrot and teach them to memorize it and repeat it. But then that smriti has to be accompanied by medha, which means intelligence. So there's so many different things in the scriptures, and we may remember many of them, but if you don't know how to apply them at the right time, or which shastric injunction to apply in which circumstance, then what's the use of it? So we need to know how to apply these things in time, place, and circumstances, and use our discrimination, and that requires intelligence. And that's this medha is a feminine quality. And then driti, determination, or Prabhupada translated as steadiness, means, being determined in what you're going to do, that you decide that this is what I'm going to do, this is the goal, this is the process, I'm going to do it, and not being pulled off track, deviated, or procrastinating, or becoming lazy in your vows. Being fixed and steadily making progress, that's a nice quality. And then kshama means that you're humble or patient. Yeah, patience. Prabhupada says when one is fully qualified and yet is humble and gentle and able to be balanced in happiness and distress, then they can be patient. So these are some of the prerequisites to patience, because if we're satisfied with our situation, then if something bad or good comes, then we don't get too agitated either way. And that's a kind of patience. And then if we're humble, then we can be patient because, okay, whatever, I'm not the most important person in the world. I can just wait for other people or for the right time or something. So these are all nice feminine qualities that help anyone in the human form of life to have good relationships. Prabhupada didn't talk about fine speech in the purport, but fine speech is very important. Vak, yeah, being able to speak in a way that communicates well, that expresses one's feelings, that inspires others, that benefits others, that is not hurtful or confusing or misleading or duplicitous, like that. So just speaking words that are truthful and beneficial and pleasing and are backed up by Vedic literature. That's austerity of speech, as Krishna talks about later in the Bhagavad Gita. And so fine speech encompasses those qualities. Okay, let's go to the next verse then, text 35. Brihatsama tata samnam Gayatri chandasam aham Masanam margashirshoham Ritunam kusumakara. Aruna, would you like to read again?
Yes, sure. Of the hymns in the Sama Veda, I am the Brihat Sama, and of poetry, I am the Gayatri. Of months, I am Margasirsa, November to December, and of the season, I am flower bearing spring. Purport. It has already been explained by the Lord that amongst all the Vedas is the Sama Veda. The Sama Veda is rich with beautiful songs played by various demigods. Of this song is the Brihat Sama, which has an exquisite melody and is sung at midnight. In Sanskrit, there are definite rules that regulate poetry. Rims and meter are not regularly written whimsically, as in much modern poetry. Amongst the regulated poetry, the Gayatri Mantra, which is chanted by duly qualified Brahmanas, is the most prominent. The Gayatri Mantra is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Because the Gayatri Mantra is specially meant for God realization, it represents the Supreme Lord. This mantra is meant for spiritually advanced people, and when one attains success in chanting it, he can enter into transcendental position of the Lord. One must first acquire the qualities of the perfectly situated person, the qualities of goodness according to the laws of material nature, in order to chant the Gayatri Mantra. The Gayatri Mantra is very important in Vedic civilization and is considered to be the second incarnation of Brahman. Brahma is its initiator and it is passed down from him in disciple succession. The month of November to December is considered the best of all months because in India, grains are collected from the fields at this time and people become very happy. Of course, spring is a season universally liked because it is neither too hot nor too cold, and the flowers and trees blossom and flourish. In spring, there are also many ceremonies commemorating Krishna's pastime. Therefore, this is considered to be most joyful of all seasons, and it is a representative of Supreme Lord Krishna.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this is a really nice verse because we see that all the things mentioned here have some things in common. For example, beauty, right? That the hymns of the Samaveda, the Brihat Sama, he's saying it's rich with beautiful songs played by various demigods. And the Brihat Sama has an exquisite melody and is sung at midnight. So you can just imagine, how beautiful the sound is, this beautiful melody and exquisite melody and sung by the demigods and yeah, just this thing that's very rich in beauty. And then similarly, the Gayatri Mantra is also very beautiful. That's poetic with rhyme and meter, and it's describing the Lord in different aspects of the Lord and the ways that devotees connect with the Lord, and that it's it's in the mode of goodness. Yeah, so in all of these things, there's like beauty and goodness and things that are uplifting and inspiring and rich and exquisite and yeah. And the final thing is the season. Uh, he says that of seasons, I'm the flower-bearing spring. So spring is also that season, which is beautiful because it's full of flowers. It's signifies rebirth and renewal and hope and yeah, just yeah, hope and faith and enthusiasm for good things to come, the goodness and inspiration. So all of these things have that quality. And then, oh yeah, months, I am Magashirsha, November, December. So November, December is a really nice time, especially if you live in India, because it's the weather is like perfect. It's not too hot, not too cold. It's right after Kartik, so everybody is carrying the momentum of, spiritual enthusiasm into their days, their sadhana, and yeah, really nice. So, oh, and another reason why November, December is nice, that Prabhupada is saying, is that in India, grains are collected from the fields at this time, so people are very happy. Yeah, so it's the time of the harvest festival and abundance and nourishment and yeah, prosperity. So yeah, this verse is just full of all these nice things, beauty and freshness and goodness and inspiration and prosperity and renewal. All these things are Krishna. Okay, text 36. Dyutam chalayatam asmi, tejas vinam aham, jayosmi vyavasayosmi, sattvam sattvavatam aham. Pragati.
Yes. I'm also the gambling of cheats and of the splendid. I'm the splendor. I'm victory. I'm adventure. And I'm the strength of the strong. Purport. There are many kinds of cheaters all over the universe. Of all cheating processes, gambling stands supreme and therefore represents Krishna. As the supreme, Krishna can be more deceitful than any mere man. The unfortunate commentator who wants to cheat Krishna and the public by saying that there is something greater than Krishna is cheated by Krishna. And the commentator cannot understand Krishna after any length of time. If Krishna chooses to deceive a person, no one can surpass him in his deceit. His greatness is not simply one sided, it is all sided. Among the victorious, he is victory. He is the splendor of the splendid. Among the enterprising and industrious, he is the most enterprising, the most industrious. Among adventurers, he is the most adventurous. And among the strong, he is the strongest. When Krishna was present on earth, no one could surpass him in strength. Even in his childhood, he lifted Govardhan Hill. No one can surpass him in cheating, no one can surpass him in splendor, no one can surpass him in victory, no one can surpass him in enterprise, and no one can surpass him in strength.
Yeah, yeah. So no one can surpass Krishna in anything. Krishna is the best of everything. And even in even in cheating, Krishna is the greatest cheater. So we shouldn't think that we can cheat Krishna. Sometimes we think, as devotees, we know what we're supposed to do and what we're not supposed to do. And we think, oh, well, if no one sees me, then I'm okay. I can get away with it. But actually, we don't get away with anything because Krishna's in our hearts and he's seeing everything, our innermost thoughts and feelings and desires and all that. And then, we see that in the Mahabharata, Duryodhana and what was his name there? Shakuni. They were trying to cheat the Pandavas in so many ways. And they all ended up, of course, it looked like they were being victorious, but actually they all got cheated in the end and they all got killed in the end. So, and also we see in Vrindavan pastimes how Krishna is very tricky with the gopis or the cowherd boys. They're always playing games like that. And so if anyone tries to cheat Krishna and sneak up on Krishna or pull a fast one on Krishna, it doesn't work. It always backfires, right? Like Lord Brahma, in Vrindavan, he tried to steal the cows and the calves, thinking he was going to play a trick on Krishna and test him and see if he's actually God. And then Krishna um, showed him a few things or two. He showed him that, oh, you think you're so powerful that you can play a trick on me? Well, look at what I'm going to do. So that's what Prabhupada is saying at the end, that no one can be more of anything than Krishna. Krishna is the best in all categories. And he's literally saying, yeah, I am victory. Aham Jaya. Yeah. Jaya Asmi, that I am victory. So this should be reassuring to Arjuna because they're on the battlefield. They're about to have a battle. And of course, Arjuna's a little concerned about who's going to win, who's going to be victorious in this battle. So Krishna is saying, Jaya Asmi, I am victory, and I'm on your side. So that means what? Victory is going to come to your side, not the opponent's. And also he's saying that I am the strength of the strong. So that means that you will, if I want you to be strong, then you're going to be strong. In other words, I can empower you because your strength comes from me. And you may feel like you may be looking out over the opposing armies and thinking that they look stronger than your armies, because Duryodhana had some fighters on his side that were actually more powerful than anyone on the Pandavas side, like Bhishma and Karna, and also they had more soldiers. They had like more akshohinis of divisions of soldiers, uh, because they had Krishna's army, which was huge. So Arjuna might have been thinking, "Oh my God, they have so many more people. And their army is so much bigger than ours. Their warriors that they have on their side are stronger than ours. What are we gonna do?" But Krishna's saying, "Don't worry. It just looks like that, but actually, strength comes from me. I am the strength of the strong. So they are not going to have any, they look strong, but if I withdraw strength from them, then they're going to be weak. And if I give strength to you, although you may look weaker, you're going to be stronger." So, yeah, he's assuring him that everything's going to turn out all right for the Pandavas. Okay. Vrishnidam Vasudevosmi Pandavanam Dhananjaya Muninam Apyaham Vyasa Kavinam Ushana Kavi. Of the descendants of Vrishni, I am Vasudev, and of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Of the sages, I am Vyas, and among great thinkers, I am Ushana. Purport. Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Baladev is Krishna's immediate expansion. Both Lord Krishna and Baladev appeared as the sons of Vasudeva, so both of them may be called Vasudeva. From another point of view, because Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, all the forms of Krishna that appear elsewhere are his expansions. Vasudeva is Krishna's immediate expansion, so Vasudeva is not different from Krishna. It is to be understood that the Vasudeva referred to in this verse of Bhagavad Gita is Baladev or Balaram, because he is the original source of all incarnations, and thus he is the sole source of Vasudeva. The immediate expansions of the Lord are called Swamsha, personal expansions, and there are also expansions called Vibhinamsha, separated expansions. Among the sons of Pandu, Arjuna is famous as Dhananjaya. He is the best of men and therefore represents Krishna. Among the Munis or learned men conversant in Vedic knowledge, Vyas is greatest because he explained Vedic knowledge in many different ways for the understanding of the common mass of people in this age of Kali. And Vyas is also known as the incarnation of Krishna. Therefore, Vyas also represents Krishna. Kavis are those who are capable of thinking thoroughly on any subject matter. Among Kavis, Ushana, Shukra Acharya, was the spiritual master of the demons. He was an extremely intelligent and far-seeking politician. Thus, Shukracharya is another representative of the opulence of Krishna. So, yeah, Prabhupada's giving us some elucidation on this because says, of the descendants of Vrishni, I am Vasudev. So someone might, because Vasudev is also a name of Krishna, so someone might be thinking, oh, that's strange. He's saying that of the Vrishnis, I am myself. So he's talking about all different things here, that ways in which he's seen in this world. So why would he be saying, I am myself? And so then Prabhupada explains, actually, he doesn't mean himself here. This Vasudev refers to Balaram. So all the descendants of Vrishni, I am Lord Balaram. And then another way in which Krishna is giving reassurance to Arjuna is he's saying that of the Pandavas, I am you, Arjuna. So how can Arjuna be defeated if he's representing Krishna? And then, of course, Vyasadeva, he gave us the Vedic literatures, Srimad Bhagavatam, all the Puranas, Bhagavad Gita. And then, yeah, it's a little surprising here about thinkers, great thinkers, the Kavis. He says Shukracharya, who's the spiritual master of the demons. So it seems that Shukracharya he was a great philosopher. And, it's interesting because even, in Vedic times, the demons, they were also religious. They knew all the different rituals and ways to get powers and ways to get material gains and boons and things like that. So Shukracharya, he was the master of all those things. And yeah, his knowledge and skills and intelligence, Prabhupada says he was extremely intelligent and far-seeing. He had a vision of the future. So that's an opulence of Krishna. Okay, let's keep going here. Text 38. Dando damayatam asmi, nitir asmi jigishatam, monam chaivasmi guyanam, gyanam gyanavatam aham. Back to you, Aruna. Maybe Aruna's busy at work.
I
You
can
there?
see.
Okay, go ahead, Pragati.
Yeah. 38, right?
Yeah.
Among all means of suppressing lawlessness, I am punishment, and of those who seek victory, I am morality. Of secret things, I am silence, and of the wise, I am the wisdom. Purport. There are many suppressing agents, of which the most important are those that cut down miscreants. When miscreants are punished, the agency of chastisement represents Krishna. Among those who are trying to be victorious, in some field of activity, the most victorious element is morality. Among the confidential activities of fearing, thinking, and meditating, silence is most important because by silence one can make progress very quickly. The wise man is he who can discriminate between matter and spirit, between God's superior and inferior natures. Such knowledge is Krishna himself.
Thank you. So, yeah, punishment is the best way of suppressing lawlessness. So there was usually, like, if we want people to act in certain ways, we give punishments or rewards. And yeah, there's some people think that we shouldn't punish anyone, like when, children, disciplining children, don't punish them, just reward them for good behavior, and everyone's going to be good. But punishment is sometimes necessary and there's a sociological study that was testing the effectiveness of different means of, getting people to do what they need to do when they don't want to do it. And what they determined from that, what they were able to conclude from that, is that actually negative incentives are more effective than positive ones. In other words, punishment works better than reward. So, if you tell people that if you um, if you if you are a law-abiding citizen, then we're going to reward you with whatever. We're going to give you a bonus, some amount of money at the end of every month that you don't break the law. So, people who are going to abide by the laws anyway, they'll be happy to get a little extra money, right? But people who are inclined to break the law, it's not going to be a good enough incentive. But if you tell people that if you break the law, you're going to be fined this much, or you're going to go to jail, or you're going to get privileges taken away, then they will not break the law. It works better. So unfortunately, punishment in this world is necessary, and it's the best means of suppressing lawlessness, and therefore it's Krishna, because it's the best thing. And then I really like this one where Krishna says that of those seeking victory, I am morality. So what it means is that people who are moral, people who do the right thing, are going to win. And may seem that, maybe they're taken advantage of, or they're cheated in some way in the short term. But like we were seeing when Krishna says, I'm the gambling of cheats. In other words, I'm the best cheater. So don't think you can cheat me by thinking you're going to get ahead or getting some advantage by doing sinful activities, by being immoral. It's not going to work. You're just going to lose. You're going to destroy yourself. You're not going to be victorious, because victory comes from morality. So when we do the right thing, when we know what Krishna wants from us, and we do that, as we understand Shastra, which gives us all the principles for living in this world, and we act according to Shastra, according to the will of the Lord, then we're going to win. Everything's going to be nice. Krishna's will be victorious in all the ways that victory is important. So that's good to remember. Yeah. Sometimes things start getting difficult in life, and we might be tempted to, like, especially if someone's being very evil towards us, mistreating us, or just being really unfair and horrible. We might, we might start getting some ideas of how to get revenge. This person is hurting me so much, I'm going to get back at them. I'm going to do something bad. I'm going to, hurt them in some way, or make life difficult for them in some way. And that doesn't help. It doesn't help us. Uh, so we just need, so yeah, my mother used to say, two wrongs don't make a right. Because let's say my brother punches me and I punch him back. And then what happens? We both get in trouble. Nobody won. But my brother punches me, and then I do the right thing, not punch him back, but just go and inform the parents. And then he's going to get in trouble and I'm going to be fine. So yeah, two wrongs don't make it right. So the idea is that even if somebody is treating you unfairly, or, uh, not nicely, then we just need to keep doing the right thing. And as long as we're being moral, and we're being saintly, and we're doing what's pleasing to, Guru and sadhus and Krishna, according to Shastra, then we're going to come out good. It's going to have a good ending for us. So yeah, her victory comes from morality. And then, of course, the best way to keep a secret is to stay quiet, silence. And Krishna says also that he's the wisdom of the wise. So people who think they are wise, people who have some wisdom, that's Krishna. Okay, let's see. There's a few verses left. I wonder if we can just finish this chapter today. Let's try. So that was text 38. Let's do text 39. Yachchapi sarvabhutanam bijam tad aham arjuna natad asti vina yatsyan maya bhutam characharam. Furthermore, O Arjuna, I am the generating seed of all existences. There is no being, moving or non-moving, that can exist without me. Purport. Everything has a cause, and that cause or seed of manifestation is Krishna. Without Krishna's energy, nothing can exist. Therefore, he is called omnipotent. Without his potency, neither the movable nor the immovable can exist. Whatever existence is not founded on the energy of Krishna is called Maya, that which is not. So everything comes from Krishna. Everything is Krishna. And yeah, Krishna is the seed of everything. Okay, let's go to text 40. Nantosti mama divyanam vibhutinam parantapa esha tu deshata prokto vibhuter vistaro maya. Are you there, Aruna? I think not. Go ahead, Pragati
Yes,
then.
I
Oh,
am
Aruna's
here.
there. Okay, please read text 40.
Okay, O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end of my divine manifestation. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. Purport. As stated in the Vedic literature, although the opulences and energies of the Supreme are understood in various ways, there is no limit to such opulences. Therefore, not all the opulences and energies can be explained. Simply a few examples are being described to Arjuna to pacify his inquisitiveness.
Thank you. Yeah, so Krishna is saying that these are just a little sample of all of my unlimited opulences. There's no way I can describe all of them to you because they're unlimited and we've got a battle to fight. We don't have all day here. We don't have eternity to list all of my opulences. But based on what I've described to you, you can extrapolate from this that I am everything, I'm the best of everything, I'm the source of everything, I'm the beginning, middle, and end of everything. That's so. Okay, text 41. Yad yad vibhuti matsattvam Srimad urjitam eva va tad tad eva vagacha tvam mama tejom shasambhavam. Pragati.
Yeah. Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. Any glories or beautiful existence should be understood to be but a fragmental manifestation of Krishna's opulence, whether it be in the spiritual or material world. Anything extraordinarily opulent should be considered to represent Krishna's opulence.
Good. Yeah, so he said that these are a few examples, but whatever you see that's opulent, whatever you see that's beautiful, whatever you see that's glorious, know that to be just a tiny little spark of my splendor. So that's nice because sometimes we get, we see a person, we think, oh my God, she's so beautiful. Oh my God, he's so handsome. And we get attracted. But Krishna's saying that that's just a spark of my splendor. So when we get attracted to a beautiful or handsome person, we can think, wow, just if this person is attracting my attention, what to speak of Krishna? Uh, Krishna is a million, zillion, unlimited times more attractive than this person. I should be attracted to Krishna. Or we see some beautiful garden, beautiful flowers, beautiful sunset, beautiful rainbow, anything like that. Or someone who's very intelligent, some stroke of genius or some invention that's like, wow. We should think, oh, Krishna is just unlimitedly times more wow than this. Remember Krishna and try to imagine how wonderful Krishna is. Okay, the last verse here. Atava bahunaitena kim gyatena tavarjuna vishtavyaham idam kritsnam ekam shena stito jagat. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Purport. The Supreme Lord is represented throughout the entire material universes by his entering into all things as the Supersoul. The Lord here tells Arjuna that there is no point in understanding how things exist in their separate opulence and grandeur. He should know that all things are existing due to Krishna's entering them as Supersoul. From Brahma, the most gigantic entity, on down to the smallest ant, all are existing because the Lord has entered each and all and is sustaining them. There is a mission that regularly propounds that worship of any demigod will lead one to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or the Supreme Goal. But worship of demigods is thoroughly discouraged herein, because even the greatest demigods like Brahma and Shiva represent only part of the opulence of the Supreme Lord. He is the origin of everyone born, and no one is greater than him. He is Asamordva, which means that no one is superior to him and no one is equal to him. In the Padma Purana, it is said that one who considers the Supreme Lord Krishna in the same category with demigods, be they even Brahma or Shiva, becomes at once an atheist. If, however, one thoroughly studies the different descriptions of the opulences and expansions of Krishna's energy, then one can understand without any doubt the position of Lord Sri Krishna and can fix his mind in the worship of Krishna without deviation. The Lord is all-pervading by his expansion of his partial representation, the Supersoul, who enters into everything that is. Pure devotees therefore concentrate their minds in Krishna consciousness in full devotional service. Therefore, they are always situated in the transcendental position. Devotional service and worship of Krishna are very clearly indicated in this chapter in verses 8 through 11. That's those Chaturshloki Gita. That is the way of pure devotional service. How one can attain the highest devotional perfection of association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead has been thoroughly explained in this chapter. Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan, a great acharya in disciplic succession from Krishna, concludes his commentary on this chapter by saying, Yachchakti leshat suryadya bhavantyatyu yat amshena dritam vishvam sakrishno dasamerchyate. From Lord Krishna's potent energy, even the powerful sun gets its power, and by Krishna's partial expansion, the whole world is maintained. Therefore, Lord Sri Krishna is worshipable. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta Purport, the 10th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of opulence of the Absolute. Haribo. Finish the chapter. So yeah, the conclusion of all of these, knowing all of Krishna's opulences, is that we understand very clearly that Krishna is the object, the supreme object of worship, that no one's greater to him, no one's greater than him, no one's equal to him. He is the best, the original, the supreme, the highest, and the most worshipable, and we should direct all of our worship, our devotion, our love, our affection, our attention to Krishna. Okay, chapter 10, Ki Jai. Any questions, comments, reflections on what we read today? What were some things that stood out to you, Pragati, Aruna?
Oh, thank you so much, Prabhupada Priya. I think there were a lot of things to take from today's class. Hope I remember a lot. So, most like when Krishna says that I'm the biggest cheater, and so when I didn't read Bhagavad Gita, I was thinking,
Wait, we lost you there. I can't hear you.
me.
Yeah, now you just came back. I don't know what happened, but go ahead.
Yeah, so now he says that I'm the biggest, like he says on both the ends, and this is how you can look on every side, like on everywhere in the
Ah, we lost you again. Seems like your speaker has a shaky connection. What happened to you, Pragati? Oh. Aruna, any reflections? I think Pragati's going to try to come back again. All right, try Pragati.
Oh, Hare Krishna. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. I think the internet was not good, but yeah, that is what I wanted to say.
Well, you have to say it again because we hardly heard anything. I just heard you started off saying how it struck you about Krishna being the biggest cheater or something.
The gambling, I'm the biggest cheater, and how he is everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's very interesting, all the different contrasts of qualities too, like the range of Krishna's representations in this world, right? It's like even things that you wouldn't think are representing Krishna are representing Krishna. Okay, thank you. Any thoughts, Aruna?
I really like the verse 34 where he says, Krishna says, I am the death, who's like it's all, and I'm the source of all things yet to do. And I really like it really stood out to me like how like Krishna is because I never thought about that. I was thinking like Krishna is the beginning and he's also the end of our life. So that's
Yeah.
I was like, wow. And
Yeah, he says he's at the beginning, middle, and end. He's birth, and he's death, and he's in between also.
yes, that was beautiful, that line.
Mm. All right, thank you very much. So we shall see you tomorrow, same time, same place, right?
Yes, thank you for the amazing class. We miss you here in Dallas.
Uh,
Yeah.
Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila
Bye.
Prabhupada ki jai,
Bye.
Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari.